Zines FM, ein Podcast über Zines und die Geschichten zwischen den Seiten. Zines FM.
Die Folge heute ist was super Besonderes und ich war richtig aufgeregt, denn das Gespräch in der heutigen Episode habe ich komplett auf Englisch geführt. Das hat euch der Titel vielleicht auch schon so ein bisschen verraten. Das war eine Premiere für mich, aber das hier war auch eine Premiere für meinen Interviewgast CJ, denn das hier war CJs allererste Podcastaufnahme überhaupt. Da habe ich mich natürlich sehr geehrt gefühlt. CJ hat die ZineMap gebaut. Das ist eine interaktive und kollaborative Karte für die globale Zine-Szene. Die könnt ihr auf ZineMap.com und auch auf Instagram finden. In dieser Folge sprechen wir darüber, wie CJ erstmal auf die Idee gekommen ist, wie viel Arbeit in dem Projekt steckt und welche Pläne es für ZineMap in Zukunft noch so gibt, denn die Karte hat gerade erst den ersten Geburtstag gefeiert. Die komplette Folge jetzt ist also auf Englisch. Wenn ihr Englisch versteht, dann hört unbedingt rein. Ich würde mich sehr freuen. Viel Spaß beim Anhören. And welcome to everyone who usually doesn't listen to Zines FM because it's usually in German. This one's for you. Enjoy. CJ, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And it's also a very special episode because it's my first episode in English. I'm so excited that we are talking today.
Yes, same. Very excited. It's my first episode, period.
Wow. What an honor.
First episode of a podcast.
And you told me that you can speak a little bit German.
Yes. Also ich habe ein paar Sätze vorbereitet, ZineMap vorzustellen. Also ZineMap ist eine gemeinsame Karte, auf der man Zine-Läden findet oder Buchläden und Bibliotheken, wo es Zines gibt oder Zine-Events, zum Beispiel Zine-Festivals, Zine-Fairs, Zine-Workshops und so weiter. Überall auf der Welt. Und wenn du einen Ort kennst, der noch nicht auf der Karte ist, kannst du ihn einfach selbst hinzufügen. Und dort kann man auch eigene Zines hochladen und andere Leute entdecken, die Zines machen. Also das ist alles, was ich auf Deutsch sagen kann.
That's great. Thank you so much for explaining it. Yeah, I discovered ZineMap a little while ago because a fellow zine maker told me about it and said like, do you know ZineMap? You have to add all your zine events to it. And then one day I made, I think, 20 pins or something on your page, and then you wrote me.
Yes,
yeah, so
I remember.
That's how we got in contact, yeah.
Yes, I was extremely impressed because I saw all the events. First of all, I was so impressed that there was a whole series of zine events, like workshops. I think they all had very different themes. And then you like added the dates, added the posters of each event, and added the details and like what's going to happen, who's running it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you must have spent like 4 hours or something on this website.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit on it, but I think ZineMap is very easy to use, so it was very easy for me to add everything. You already said you created ZineMap by yourself, right?
Yes, I'm the developer.
How did that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen? Okay, so like a little bit of the origin story of ZineMap.
Yes, please.
Yes. So this was last year around this time. So ZineMap just very recently turned 1 year old.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you. On behalf of ZineMap, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a year ago, I was at this coding retreat in Brooklyn, New York, called the Recurse Center. And it's basically a rehab for developers that are burnt out from working in big tech.
No.
And then they're just...
I can't imagine.
Yeah. And I was probably one of them because I had not written a single line of code since I left my previous job in April 2024. So I had not written a single line of code for over a year. And then I went to this coding retreat. It's kind of like a residency where you're just working on whatever interests you. And then that's where I started building ZineMap, because I had also just published or self-published my first comic zine, and I was looking for places that would stock it, because it just feels so nice to have your little comic on a shelf somewhere in the shop. So I was like looking for places that could do that, but it was extremely hard to find places. A lot of the lists were outdated. A lot of the information was scattered, and you just couldn't find places that would work with self-publishers. So that's how the idea kind of started, and that was the place where I could really like put in hours and hours to just get a prototype going and like put it out. That's how it began.
Okay. So, and then you made a first site, you programmed it on the retreat, and then what happened from that? So you put it online, and how did you made it known to the zine community?
Yeah, it was a really, I guess, bare bonesy prototype. When I first put it out, I posted it in the zines subreddit. I think it's just zines on Reddit. And usually, like, I have a lot of issues, or it's just very difficult for me to put out anything or to publish anything that's not done. But I was ready to post about ZineMap.
So you struggle with perfection and stuff?
Yes, just like everyone, I guess.
Like everyone, yeah.
Yes, but it was half cured, because in that coding retreat, we were like conditioned to just talk about...
To overcome your inner perfectionist?
Yeah, sort of, because they made you talk about... Well, they didn't make anyone, but they had like... They made the space for people to talk about their half-finished projects. So I was sort of gaining
place,
muscles. Yes, exactly. To do that sort of prematurely almost, to like put out a version that's really just a prototype that looked horrible. Well, to me, like I was never proud of what I could never make things look pretty. It's always because I'm a back-end engineer, and all the websites I make, I think they're really ugly.
That's such a stereotype.
It is? Well, I think it's pretty accurate. It's a stereotype, but it's accurate.
Then it's just facts. Okay.
Yeah. I was somehow okay with it looking not ready, or looking somewhat ugly in quotes. But I was happy that I posted on Reddit, and then people really responded to it. Like within a day, it became a real project, in the sense that real people registered accounts and real people added real places to the map. So like it immediately became a thing with like actual data. So I felt immediately responsible for like keeping it going. Like their eyes.
You couldn't back out at this point,
Exactly. Yeah.
And you already told us ZineMap is around for 1 year now. How many people have contributed so far?
Yeah, so I think I have a number that's the accurate number on the website. Right now it's probably 700 something. And it's funny because I print out these little cards like the ones that you included in the zine tausch, and you probably said 600, and I still have cards with me that say 500 contributors around the world. So it's like keeps growing
fast.
Yes, and I can't keep up. Like my promo materials can't keep up with how fast it's growing.
But that's so nice. I think I read that you have pins from over 40 countries now already. That's so amazing. So what country is still missing?
What countries are still missing? If you look at the map right now, there's like pockets of activities or like very dense activities in the States, in Europe,
of course,
Western Europe mostly. I think a lot in France, a lot in Germany, and a lot in Australia. I don't know if it's because I'm here. I think.
I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
Like this is where it's getting kind of talked about in person by me. Like I get to be part of the conversation in person when like ZineMap is in this conversation. But also South America, we're seeing like where people are starting to appear on there. I think a zine store from Colombia just joined either today or yesterday.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know if it has anything to do with the site being primarily in English, although people have started adding events in the local language. I think there's a correlation of some sort.
Yeah, I think so too. And today is August 1st when this episode comes out.
Yes.
And you were very busy in July because obviously it's International Zine Month, but you attended several zine events in July.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us where you went and what they were?
Yeah, happily. So I think the first zine event that I went to was Otherworld Zine Fair in Sydney. And that is probably the largest zine fair in Sydney because there are so many throughout the year. And in July especially, there's like one every weekend.
That's so cool.
Just like I think a lot of places are like that now. But this one is still the largest, and it has, I don't want to like mess up their history, but I think it's been like running for a couple of years now, and it's run by Glom Press, which is a risograph press
Oh, okay.
in Melbourne. They print comics in Rizzo, and it's 4 people, I think, that are running this press, and then also that's the core team that's running Otherworld's Zine Fair.
And how many zine maker were there?
How many zine makers? Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd say over 100 for sure.
Oh, wow.
I'd say, and then that's really, people would fly to Sydney for it. So I tabled next to someone who flew from Melbourne, and also the core team that runs Glom Press, that also runs Other Worlds. I think they're all based in Melbourne, so they flew in for this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a really big zine event in Australia.
So cool. Was it a whole weekend or just one day?
This was just one day. I think it ran for maybe 5 to 6 hours.
And was that your first zine event where you tabled yourself, or did you visit other zine events before?
I'd say this one, the 11th of July, was probably my 10th zine fair the past year. So my first zine fair was last year in September. And then because I've been building ZineMap, and because...
That's so many. 11 since last year?
I know. Yeah,
Wow.
That's how many there has been. And I travel a lot also.
Okay.
I made this promise to myself that I would spend as much time and effort getting my work out there as the amount of time and effort that I spent making the work. So that's a rule almost. So that this is me doing getting the work out part of the equation.
Okay. Are you visiting zine events only in Australia, or are you traveling outside the country as well?
I traveled once to Poland, and I went to Kraków Zine Fest in December last year. This was my first and only
international one.
Zine fair that is not in Australia.
How did you like it? Do you recommend it? Because Poland is not too far away from Germany, but I've never been there.
You've never been there?
No.
It's like a train ride away.
Not in Poland at all, and not at the zine event, yeah.
I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend it more if you speak Polish. And
okay, I don't.
But just the variety of zines there, and you can really feel it. Like there's the undergroundness of the zine scene there. I think a lot of it was like really, really punk. And how else can I put it? And the person running it is from Spain.
Oh, okay.
So it's really interesting how someone from Spain is running this very cultural thing in Poland, but he's been in Poland for a really long time. And I went because I also have a personal relationship with the country, or like I had a long and open relationship with the Polish language that I was like trying very hard to learn.
Okay.
So
how many languages do you speak? Because you can speak a bit German, you can speak a bit Polish then?
Yeah, I used to really love learning languages. So it depends on when you're asking, but I think right now I'm pretty comfortable in Spanish and French. I've studied them to a pretty advanced level, enough to like work in that language. And then Polish is really just a passion thing. And then Italian was a COVID project. German was a pre-COVID project. Yeah, so a few.
So cool. Yeah, a few. That's so amazing. I like language learning so much, but I suck at it. Really, I'm quite okay with English because in Germany you start learning English, I think, in 3rd grade. So it's fine. But I used to have Spanish at school. I learned Swedish for a few years. Wow. I had Latin, but Latin is just not useful at all, of course. I'm learning Chinese for over 10 years and I can't speak anything. So, yeah. But I'm hopeless, but I don't give up. I think that's the most important thing. Do you think the zines in Poland are different than in Australia?
I'm going to quote someone that I met at a zine fest in Tasmania, in Hobart. This was in March, I think, and I flew down to Hobart for a zine fest, the first one that they had in the state library, in their state library. And someone said that they've witnessed a pretty big sort of cutesification in zines, in especially maybe Tasmania or like Australia lately, where people are making really cute things, and which is not necessarily a problem, but it's just an observation that they had. And they made a zine about the cutesification of zines.
Interesting.
And I think I might have a copy of it from a trade. Yes, it's quite interesting.
So away from being political, more towards being cute and artsy, you think?
I think there's a growing, or really, I'm really new to the scene. Like, I'd say I've had a pretty extensive exposure to the zine scene from making the map, from trying to be useful in the zine scene. But just from what I've seen, I think, or like what I've learned from people that have been making zines and going to zine events for a long time, I feel like they've witnessed a really big overlap in recent years of crowds that are doing like art markets or like art books, making very elaborate artsy objects, and like the zine makers that are all about getting ideas out quickly, or the immediacy of transforming an idea to like a handheld object that contains that idea. I think there's an increasing overlap.
Yeah. You said you are quite new to the zine scene, and you already told me that your first zine was right around the time you went to the retreat, right?
Yes.
Okay. But did you know about zines before that?
I did. I did know about zines. I think I even went to a zine workshop in 2022. This was when I was still living in Brooklyn. I lived there for 2 years, and I went to, maybe it was an LGBT center that had a zine workshop. And I went to that workshop, but I was just really impressed by the folds. Like, they had really elaborate folds, and I was trying to replicate some of those, but I didn't put anything in it. I was just folding paper that entire session. So I did.
Just training for the real thing.
Yes, definitely. But that was my first exposure to the idea of zines. And then fast forward to 2025, I had been making comics for a long time, but a long time as in like 3 years. And then
that's a long time in my books. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I was talking to a comics professor who told me that I had enough pages for a mini comic, and who said I should get my work out, that I should like print it out and trade it with people and make friends. And I was like, what difference would it make if I were to print it out versus just posting it on like Instagram or Substack? I was like, what difference would that make? It made all of the difference.
Yeah.
Just having it as a handheld thing, and how, because I was already thinking about page turns when I make comics.
Okay.
So it made a lot of sense to see it, the physical thing in the page turns.
And I think it's always such a different feeling to see something you did printed out or as a physical medium than just on a screen. I think that's
absolutely
almost two different things.
Yeah.
So you printed your comic and then you shared it with friends and people, and then you fell in love with zines. That's how it happened. Yeah.
Sort of. I didn't have friends here in Australia. I made friends. I did
Okay.
make friends through zines because I'm only in Australia because my partner's here. Before this, I was kind of floating in space, and my partner has since been an anchor. So like I come back to Australia. This is kind of a base now in a way. But prior to this zine community, I think I didn't really have any friends. I was still kind of just living in this small bubble. And then after I printed out my first zine, I printed a couple copies, and the comics mentor also found a zine fair for me that was happening in a few days.
It's so nice.
I know. And then I went with the copies that I had of my first mini comic zine, and then I traded with people. And one shop owner who was tabling at that zine fair offered to stock that comic. So that was the first time of my work getting into a shop, getting onto a shelf, like officially. And it felt so good that I wanted to do it more.
Yeah, it's so nice. And now on ZineMap, because ZineMap has a lot of different categories where you can put pins on. You have the events, because right before we recorded, I added 2 more shops.
Oh,
yeah. It's still not approved. I did it like 20 minutes ago.
Still not approved.
Still not approved. How dare you? Yeah, no. But that was the first time I added shops, and I was very surprised that you can put so much information on it, because you can put tags on how the shops pay you, or how the split between the shop and the zine maker is, and stuff. And I think that is so helpful, because I mean, I'm not selling my zines really, but a lot of questions I get are about how can I put my zines in shops, because mostly people don't want to have online shops themselves, because I don't know how the situation in Australia is, but in Germany it's like horrible to make a shop or be self-employed. It's like
taxes and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, if only it were just taxes, but it's just like the laws are so complicated. And also online shops are a big problem here in Europe, and also especially in Germany. Yeah, so a lot of people are just hesitant to do their own online shop, rightfully so, because it's so complicated. It's just, not easy to have an online shop. So a lot of people are searching for ways to bring their zines to some shops. And I think I don't know anything like ZineMap. So I think it's such a great place for people to find shops and also zine events. I also have a website, and I always planned to put a list or something on there with zine events in Germany. But yeah, I think you know that you have so many ideas, and you just...
Oh yeah, for sure. There's never a lack of ideas.
Yeah, the ideas are not the problem, more the time issue. Yeah, so I didn't do it. But when I discovered ZineMap, I thought, oh, great. Somebody else did it. and so much better than I could, because I only thought about, I don't know, a Google sheet with dates and events in it. But ZineMap is so much better and so much cooler.
I'm so glad. I'm pretty proud. Like, I do take pride in like designing it in a way that I can't take credit. Yes, I will. Because that was really the one thing that I was hoping to do, was to get my comic zine into shops.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a very like a niche thing, even for zinesters, because a lot of zine makers, like, they trade, they go to events, but they don't necessarily, or they have like Etsy, or they run some web shop, but they don't really necessarily work with a physical like bookstore.
Local shops.
Yeah, exactly. But this was something that I was really interested in, because I want to see my comics next to comics by like my comic heroes. That's like a personal goal, and it was very validating to have my comics in the same shop as like Riyad Satuf or like Guy Delisle, like my comic heroes. So it was really what I was trying to do. And then seeing how difficult it is to get that information, to even to learn what the split is. And not just that, like how does it work? How do you approach them? Do you like email them? How do you ask? Like, do they even work with self-publishers? Like a lot of this I had to find out just going door to door and ask them if they work with self-publishers, or like looking to see if they have a zine shelf or like a independent publishing local kind of setup. And then just knowing how much effort it is to maintain like a Google sheet, and then there's no ownership of that data. Like anyone can contribute, but then it slowly dies if there's no one to
New
look at them.
information or updates. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so right now, by attaching every contribution to a name, like it's added by Jenny, then you're kind of, well, you're not like responsible forever.
It's my personal responsibility to keep all the events and shops like updated.
It definitely adds
the pressure now. Yeah,
it's to thank you. It's to credit you, but also there's a little bit of shared responsibility. Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's also nice to have the community notes so that everyone can just put some comments on places or events. I think that's a great idea to gather more information about events and places.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most valuable aspect of ZineMap is the community input. And my job is to just create a platform to make it possible for people to like contribute that kind of knowledge. But that's really what made it like useful, I think, is what people add in the information, their firsthand experience working with a shop or going to a library or like even attending an event, because you can also like add notes to previous or archived past events. So it's available. It's like
it's also a good research platform. So I don't know if you want to, or if you plan to go to an event next year, you can look it up, how people thought about it this year. I like it so much, really.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
Thanks again for making it.
Yeah, it's definitely like I'm still trying to figure out the relationship between me and ZineMap now that it's like its own thing, like it has its own life almost. It like has a heartbeat, but it feels like a tree that grows in my backyard that has its own life, but it's still the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning. It's like there for you to like water.
You can't overlook it.
A lot of maintenance in the comms, newsletters, social media, trying to get grants, trying to like find proper support for it. Has been a lot of work.
Do you want to talk more about the work behind ZineMap? So what do you need to do to keep it running, for example?
Ooh. How many hours do we have?
As many as we want.
Okay, I can, yes, sure. I'd love to. I thank
where
you
to start?
For the
so much,
yes, now it's my turn to like dump this information, because I do run like a interview series, and I talk about people that run events and shops and libraries to like learn all the behind the scenes work that they put into it. And as I edit their interviews, I'm like, when do I get to talk about ZineMap? Okay, now it's my turn. Gladly.
Now it's your turn.
So besides, well, obviously when people look at it, they're going to think that my job is to like click approve on the submissions. But actually I do have another moderator now that's also like part of the admin panel, who also has admin access, who like sees the submissions and flag or approve or do a quick fix on the address or the URL, etc. Because there was a person who was doing a lot of it on existing events on their own. And I was like, well, actually, thank you so much for all this work. Would you like to actually be an admin? Because they were like sending me, I think I did have a feedback thing at the bottom of every page that you can like write to me about an inaccuracy. And then this person was already doing that on their own. So I invited them on the admin side of things. But then in addition to this, the moderation, looking at submissions, making sure the addresses are correct, making sure the place exists, because sometimes people do add a distro that operates out of a physical address, but it's not publicly accessible. So for that, we can't really put it on the map. And I would then reach out to the person and ask them to maybe add a pin of just themselves on the Zinester directory map, so people can know that there is a distro run by this person somewhere in like the States, for example. So there's communication on that front to like a little user education too. I don't like to say users, but people that use
Contributors.
contributors. So communication and support, just to answer emails and send emails, thanking people, thanking the contributors who have added something and asking how they learn about ZineMap and potentially like explore ways to collaborate to like get the word out more. So like outreach in that sense, and also outreach to shops. I did one fundraising campaign there recently and wrote to shops on the map to see if they're willing to support the project. So like some fundraising outreach efforts, and then continuous development, because the more things it does, the more likely things can break, and not in a chaotic or catastrophic way, but still like when an event goes into the next year, some people would update the listing. For example, like Zine Fair 2025, they just update that listing to say Zine Fair 2026, but then, or Zine Fair so-and-so 2026 for the second year's edition. But then there's like attendance attached to this listing that say these people went to this event.
Yeah.
So when it goes to the next year, there's got to be a way for that to be tied to the previous year's listing. So just structural things, data stuff, and making sure, checking the backlogs, making sure the bugs get addressed, and security stuff. Because I used to be a backend person. That was kind of what I did for a living, but then it's definitely different when you're doing it sort of professionally, but you're not getting paid. So like how professional am I acting without a company? But still definitely knowing that a lot of it is currently my responsibility, and somehow juggling that has been tricky, and like finding support also in addition to shops or like general fundraisers. I'm hoping to start applying to grants. I have done that a few times with no success, unfortunately, so far. And maybe like working with people to frame it better, because a lot of grant makers or funding bodies are associated to a location, like a city or a state, but then ZineMap is not really, doesn't belong to any.
I see the problem, yeah.
Yeah, so somehow like frame it so that it makes sense to funding bodies, and also be like careful whose money you're taking, but not that I'm like selling it to some institution, but still hopefully get some steady support to continue working on it. And also, like you mentioned, there's multiple location categories. I'm also adding a new one for print shops, because it makes sense for people to know where they can print
that's a great
locally.
idea. Yeah.
There are many great ideas, just like not enough time.
The ideas are not the problem. Yeah.
Like you said. Yes. So this is like a fourth category, hopefully. And also working on a way to represent distros, because they are important. They're an important part of the ecosystem, and they're doing a lot of work, and they are really hard to put in boxes because the way they work. But hopefully finding a structure to also represent them somehow, doing research on that front, and hopefully also like scoping it so that I know very well what belongs to the map and what doesn't, like what is my job and what isn't. Hopefully that's what I have in mind.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. So I really hope that more people add to it, either in form of pins and locations and stuff. But I saw that you also have what is it called, Ko-fi?
Yeah, I never know what it's is. Is it Ko-fi? Like
yeah,
lo-fi?
I know.
I never know.
Yeah. Does it come from coffee or lo-fi? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I will put it in the show notes, of course, so
Thank
people
you.
can contribute. Wow, this word is so hard for me. Contribute to it.
Yeah.
Wow, sometimes English is still a challenge for me, but
You speak it perfect.
It's fine. Okay, so you said that you plan to do a new category for ZineMap. Can you tell me more what you plan for the second year
Yeah.
for ZineMap? Are there other plans? I mean, ideas, we already
Yes.
said
Yes.
there are a lot, but do you plan to make some specific upgrades in the second year of ZineMap?
Yes. Yes. First of all, acknowledging that there are many ideas and many things that quote unquote should be on the map. Like this belongs, or like this would be so helpful if it does this or that. And acknowledging that I can't possibly do it all
At once.
at once, or like without like
At
a
all,
structural
yeah.
support
Yeah.
as well. And acknowledging that, and possibly opening up opportunities, or like have openings for collaboration, because right now it's really difficult for me to do that. I was telling a friend how, like, if a person shows up at my door right now and tell me that they are capable of doing anything and they can just give me 1 hour to work on ZineMap, I like, there's nothing I can really tell them to do without having them like touch my laptop, like, because everything is right now still like runs
to
out
you.
of exactly. Yeah. So, and then again, to get help, I kind of have to design for like a container for that help. Like, what would help entail? What does it entail? What is it? What's the scope of that help? And, you know, kind of designing this in a way so that people can contribute.
Contribute. And also that the help is, how can I phrase that? You get the help without it making you more work than it helps you.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, it's so counterintuitive sometimes, but it is like sometimes you'd think I'll just do it myself, because for me to explain what needs to be done to a person and for them to like still have like some feedback, and I'll show my appreciation, but also I have to somehow like give my input in a way that doesn't intrude. Well, it's, yes, it can easily become more work for this person who's like trying to get help. So I guess designing that contained form of help is tricky, but something that I've been thinking about for the second year, in a new location category, and one candidate that might very well fit in this theme that we've been talking about, like the help thing, is to add multilingual support so that the interface of the site is available in multiple languages. But this, because I have worked on this specific feature in multiple companies before becoming a Zine person, I was a developer, and just having worked on that and knowing it's like a continuous thing, it's not like a one-off task, because every time you add something new to the site, it will then have to be translated, or like there would need to be a fallback of some sort. So me carrying my tech world knowledge from pre-AI ages.
Your experiences, and you see where the problems are.
Yeah, and then hopefully building a system so that translators can come in and help with the site and running this quote-unquote pipeline for multilingual support to exist and be functional and be user-friendly, accessible. Because I think that's the most requests I've gotten was about having the site available in Spanish, in German, in Chinese. Because if you've tried the browser plugin translation, it's usually a very abysmal experience.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's like a big chunk of thing to start thinking about in year 2.
So exciting.
Yes.
I'm really excited to see how ZineMap, how it continues to grow, because I think a lot of people know it by now.
Really?
Because, yes, I was at the Zine Fest in Bremen last week.
Oh, yeah. How did that go?
In the north of Germany. Yeah, it was really cool, because it was 2 days.
Okay.
And on Saturday, the weather was so nice, and the location was very convenient for people to discover. So a lot of not Zine people were coming, and
new blood.
That can always go 2 ways, because sometimes people are like so curious about zines and are very happy to get to know them. But sometimes people don't understand zines at all. And that's always like a 50-50 chance how it can go. But Bremen is such a beautiful city. I like Bremen so much. And Bremen was also the first town I went to ZineFest 2 or 3 years ago. And so it will always have a special place in my heart. Yeah. But a lot of people were telling me about ZineMap. Like, do you know ZineMap already? And I was like, yeah, actually, yes. Maybe CJ will be in my podcast in a few days. So, yeah.
Wow.
That was very, very funny. Yeah.
That's so amazing to hear. I wonder how, how is the word getting spread?
If you don't know, then how would I know? Yeah, but I think because I have that's not obviously not the only reason, but I have a Zine Discord in German and a community there.
Okay.
And ZineMap came up there too. So people were sharing the site there too. And yeah, so I think it's because of my Discord. So.
Yes, thank you.
No, but
my gratitude.
Or maybe the people discovered also on Instagram more and more. Mm-hmm. And because you said you're active on Reddit a bit, and also you have a Instagram page, but do you use any other social media as a promotion for ZineMap?
No, not currently. If at some point I get to work with a social media person, it would be lovely to have it in multiple platforms, or at least as an entry point, because the goal is always for people to spend less time on social media and more time on ZineMap, hopefully. So to take them over to the map.
It's a fine line to walk on. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But I currently only run Instagram, that one account, and then I run a newsletter, which is really just everyone who has an account on ZineMap, plus people who wrote down their email at my zine table. Whenever I table at an event, I have a thing to collect emails for ZineMap newsletter. So these are the two channels growing out of my end, pretty exclusively from within ZineMap, Instagram, and then that newsletter. But I found a lot of organic engagement, or because I Google once in a while, I just type in ZineMap to see what people are talking or what are saying about ZineMap. And once I found a person maybe on Tumblr or some other platform saying, ZineMap is such an amazing resource. Thank you so much. And I thought I was getting a compliment. And they said, thank you so much, Gwen, for telling me about it. And I was like, the hell is Gwen? Getting all the credit. But it's a signal of ZineMap existing outside of me as its creator or builder.
More people are talking about it,
Yeah, just as a community resource. And I have nothing to do with it, which is beautiful in a way. If I built something that just lives and breathes on its own. And so thank you, Gwen, for talking about it.
Yeah.
And
Gwen, if you hear this, thank you so much.
Yes, I'm thankful. I came around to it, that I should really be thankful for people that are just talking about it and hyping it up.
Sharing the news, yeah.
Yeah. And I do see because I do track user analytics to see where people are coming from. And Instagram is only 5 or 6% so far.
Oh.
And then I have maybe 30 or 40% from Google that were just typing zine events or zine fests, and then they get to ZineMap shows up as one of the top results. And then the vast majority, or maybe over 50% of the incoming traffic, was just people going to ZineMap.com directly, typing it in their URL. So maybe I take that as maybe people are going just to ZineMap because of word of mouth, because they heard it from someone, or maybe they saw it in the card or my outdated promo materials. Yeah, so that's how I interpret this signal. And also there are people coming from ChatGPT and AI. There's 2% of people.
I have mixed feelings about that, but I think it can be helped. Yeah.
Same. It's interesting though. I look at it and I go what could this person have asked ChatGPT for GPT to send them to ZineMap?
To you, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The zine events we do in Bochum, where I'm part from, we also had 2 or 3 people telling us oh yeah, I found you through ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or all the, and we were how? How can that happen? But yeah, I mean, I'm really not a fan of AI stuff, but thanks to ChatGPT to send people to our meetings,
Exactly.
I think
It did one
the
right
only good
thing.
thing. Yeah, it did one right thing. Yeah. Do you know where most of the visitors on your page come from? Like, are they also mostly from Australia or all over the world?
I think they're mostly from the States.
Yeah,
I
okay,
think
because there
last
are
time
so
I
many
checked.
people there. And the
Yeah.
States have such a big zine community.
Yeah, exactly. There's something happening like everywhere in the States. Because I don't know if you noticed, but right now, if you go to ZineMap, you see immediately like the map when it initializes, it shows you like the States and maybe a bit of Europe. And this was a strategic thing for me at the beginning to do because it was showing a lot of activity. So it was like an example of what this can be. But then if you turn the globe around, it's like sparse in Africa, in Asia, sparse. And also Australia can be dense in like Sydney and Melbourne, but because Australia as a country is pretty sparsely distributed, like you see people densely, like there's very dense population on the East Coast, a little bit on the West Coast, some down south, and then like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. A whole bunch of nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like in the beginning, it was just strategic for me to show the more populated or more interesting part of
that
the
it's
map with
working.
things.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the zines you make, maybe.
Sure.
So you mostly make comic zines, right?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite zine from yourself or maybe also from someone else?
My favorite zine, I think. Well, if I show you on here, nobody's gonna see it, but
Yeah, you have to describe it.
I have to describe it.
But I'm eager to see, so I take the advantage that we are on camera.
Yes. Maybe it's easier for me to describe it as I show it to you. So I make a lot of comic zines, and so far they're probably all comic zines except for one photo zine of how I got CJ as my name, which was a name bestowed upon me by a Starbucks person who could not spell my
Okay,
real
now
name.
you have to. Okay, now you have to tell the whole story.
Oh, it was my real name is Sija or Sija in Chinese.
Sija.
And then yeah. And then nobody ever bothers to ask you how it's spelled in Starbucks. This was in 2015, so I'm showing you now on camera. This was the photo zine that I made containing ways people spelled my name, and then these are all the ways they spelled my name.
Oh,
And,
but it's creative. You have to give it to them. Yeah. Sandra,
Yeah.
Sidra.
Yeah, Sandra, like where the yeah.
Creative.
And then
yeah.
these are all just photos that I took
Starbucks.
from 2015 to 2016. And in 2016, I acquired a taste for coffee, so these photos stopped. I stopped going to Starbucks. But this is how I got my name. That was the last photo. And then in the end, I have a comic of a friend that I made on a plane called Jeremy, who told me he would not call me by CJ because he already knew another CJ who is African American and his age, and he was a Vietnam veteran and old. So like he already knows another CJ. So
okay, he thought that CJ was not fitting for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was how this comic or this zine ended. Just
that's great because it's also so personal. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's a perzine and a photo zine. With a little comic.
And also a comic zine.
Yes. It's all three.
So many types, in one zine.
Yeah.
What was your first zine? Like, was it the collection of your comics?
Yes, that was my first zine. And it's really substantial. Like, it's one that you can spend like 20 minutes with.
Okay. How many pages?
28 pages of comics, and some pages were very densely text. Yeah, I think I was pretty bad at making zines or dealing with zine as like a concept, going into it as like a comics person, because it was about making it perfect. It was about like, this was my body of work. It was about showing that body of work. But as
all or nothing. Yeah.
So it's this. I'm showing again because we have camera. It's like 28 pages of solid, quote unquote, solid comics. And then I've since learned to make more casual zines of just like out of just one idea, like the name idea. So I think I've gotten better at making zines.
Yep. I think zines are such a good way to overcome your own perfectionism, because the first zine is always the hardest, because you think that it has to be the perfect zine, a zine that has never done before. And so that was the reason why I struggled with starting making zines for almost 10 years, I think.
Wow.
So, but then I did my first one, and after that, there was no stopping me anymore. So, and now I'm comfortable with even really small ideas making into a zine. And
yeah, I think that's a thing. I think I've heard of a quote from, I don't know whom, I'm going to misquote this person, but it's something about like the first album you make at maybe age of 20. It's like an album of 20 years. It's like 20 years of your understanding of music, your taste, your aesthetics going into one album. So it's like everything. But then the second one would just be like the month after you make the first one. It's like an accumulation of a much shorter period of time.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a nice thought. Yeah.
So
yeah,
my
that's true.
first comic, my first zine was my zine of 28 years. And then the second one is just...
yeah, 28 and a half or something. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The tip I give almost everyone who asks me, like, how can I make my first zine, is that I say that you have to try to make the worst zine you can imagine doing. Like, just to overcome your own perfectionism. Just do it shitty, but just do it. And then the second one can be your perfect one, but not the first one.
I forgot who wrote the book Bird by Bird, and there's the famous idea of a shitty first draft. It's kind of similar to what you just said about getting a shitty first version out.
Yeah. Are comic zines also the zines you usually buy or trade with people, or are you interested in all the zines?
I think so. I'm still very much a comics person. I trade. Like if someone comes up to me with a zine, I'll happily trade. Like anything, really. I've never turned down someone who wants to trade. Like what a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I'm mostly still very much, as a reader, I still read a lot more comic stuff or be attracted to comics.
Yeah.
Although I think I've seen, just from building ZineMap as well and from going to zine events, I've seen a lot of very interesting things that are also inspiring, that are not necessarily comics. There is one that I stumbled upon in Tasmania when I was there for the Zine Fest, of a zine that's Tasmanian roadkill. So it's photos of dead animals in Tasmania. And it's hilarious.
Not
like
creepy at all. Yeah, not creepy at all.
It's not creepy. Yeah. The way they made it was hilarious. But like, so, like, I don't know how to feel. Like, should I feel sad to see dead animal bodies? But also they made
Is it okay to laugh about it? Yeah.
Exactly. It's that kind of sentiment, but it's so interesting. I think that zine inspired me to make my CJ, the photo zine that's also a story about how I got my name. I think it was the inspiration of like photos and then how you interpret them.
I really like it when a zine surprises you. So either in the topic, because I have so many zines about topics I had no idea about before, or also in the way they are made. So my favorite format of zines is the normal 8-page mini zine. That's usually my favorite one, because I like it that you only have the 8 pages and that's it. Yeah, I really like it that you have this contained format and only the 8 pages you have to fill. But I also like it when people experiment with folds, papers and stuff. And as you said, I never turn anyone down when anyone wants to trade with me, because I think usually I'm much happier with a new zine than with, I don't know, 2 or 3 euros.
That you would pocket.
My zines usually. Yeah. So a zine makes me much more happy than a few euros. So I'm very happy to trade at zine events and stuff. But I have the luxury that zines are just my hobby and I don't have to make money from them. So, yeah. Is there any question that you thought I would ask you and I didn't yet?
Any question I thought you would ask me, but you didn't. It's just been such an organic and natural flowing conversation that
that's a compliment.
I don't think there's any gap. No.
Yeah, perfect. Then, all that I have to say now is thank you that you were such an amazing guest on my podcast.
Thank you.
That you took the time to speak to me. And I'm really excited to see what ZineMap will be in a few years.
Thank you. Such an honor to be on your podcast, one that I've been really listening to for the past month, thinking that I come here and maybe speak some German, but it's such...
But you did.
I did. Yes. Kudos to myself. But you're a wonderful host. This has been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for including the ZineMap cards in your ZineTausch.
Yeah, I think most of the ZineTausch people will have the letters today or maybe yesterday. So when this episode comes out, all the people should have got their letters. But,
amazing. And what a big project, logistics-wise. I can't imagine. I saw the photos with all the letters addressed to different places, people.
Yeah, it's taking over my life slowly, but it's always such a nice time. Yeah. Okay, so thank you again so much and see you on ZineMap.
Das war Zines FM. In den Shownotes findest du das Zine zur heutigen Folge zum Ausdrucken und selber falten. Neue Folgen gibt's immer am 1. und 15. des Monats. Dankeschön fürs Zuhören und vielleicht bis zum nächsten Mal.